Hey mama, today we are diving into something most postpartum fitness programs completely overlook: core and pelvic floor healing. If you have been leaking when you laugh or sneeze, or feeling that lower belly pooch or belly, or noticing weird doming or coning in your abs during exercise, this episode is for you. And it's not just about looks. This affects your strength, it affects your posture, your energy, and your long-term health. So this is not something that only postpartum moms experience. So if you're a year, 2, 5 years postpartum after having your baby, it's actually something that I see a lot in women where their kids are like 20 years old, 30 years old, and they're experiencing these symptoms. Like, I'm still peeing my pants when this happens, or I can never go on a trampoline, or I have this lower belly pooch, or I'm noticing different changes like the doming and the combing during different exercises. Why am I not losing weight in this abdominal area? So we are going to dive into all of this and what you need to know about core and pelvic floor healing that most workouts miss. Enjoy today's show. Feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and like you've lost yourself in the postpartum chaos, struggling to rebuild your strength, heal your core, and feel confident in your body again? Hey mama, I'm Val, a functional sports dietitian, postpartum fitness coach, and a mama who understands exactly what you're going through. Welcome to the Strong and Nourished Mama podcast, where I help busy moms like you regain your energy, rebuild strength, and feel amazing through simple, science-backed nutrition and fitness strategies. If you're ready to go from depleted to strong, nourished, and unstoppable, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. I want to invite you to join me for a live free workshop that comes straight from my heart and experience as being a mom. And after becoming a mom, I thought exhaustion was just part of the deal. You're just going to be exhausted. I'm never going to fit in my pants again. It is what it is. And I was trying to push and bounce back and do all of the things, and I still felt drained, weak, and like I'd lost myself in the process. That's when everything shifted. I learned how to nourish my body, rebuild my core and my pelvic floor, and support my energy, and it has changed everything for me. In this 60-minute workshop, From Exhausted to Energized, I'm going to show you how to do the same. You will learn the real reasons you're so tired. It's not just because you're not sleeping, the 3 keys to lasting energy, and how to feel strong and grounded in your body again without that burnout, the guesswork, or those rigid rules. And because I know how powerful this can be, I'm giving all attendees early access to my signature 8-week program, the Strong, Nourished, and Energized Mom Method, because we start this program on Monday, August 4th, and I'm going to offer $100 off enrollment and exclusive fast action bonuses just for showing up. If you're ready to stop running on empty and start feeling like you again, save your spot now at wellnessbyval.com/workshop. Let's do this together. Imagine trying to build a house on a cracked foundation. No matter how beautiful the design is or how expensive the materials are, eventually things are going to start to shift, things are going to start to break and fall apart because the foundation was cracked. That's what happens when we jump into postpartum workouts without healing your core and your pelvic floor first. This can be 6 weeks, 6 months, 6+ years after having your baby. You might look like you're doing all of the right things. You're working out, you're eating well, you're staying active. But if your body's foundation isn't stable, you are going to deal with the things like leaking, low back pain, which is very, very common, doming abs, or that stubborn mom pooch, the belly that won't go away. In today's episode, I'm breaking down what most workouts miss when it comes to postpartum recovery and how to rebuild your foundation the right way so you can feel strong, supported, and energized again. For more episodes on core and pelvic floor health, listen to episode 28, episode 30, episode 31, 32, and 35, where I talk more about diastasis rectus abdominis, incontinence, and pelvic organ prolapse, and how that's all related to core and pelvic floor health and recovery. Let's talk about the biggest misconceptions about core recovery after having your baby. And again, this is at any point in your journey after having your baby. A lot of people think this is just has to happen within the first year or 2 years, but this is something that you really want to focus on no matter how long it has been since you've had your baby. So most moms think core work equals crunches and planks. You have to do all of this traditional work to be able to get your core and your strength back. You have to do the crunches, you have to do the planks, the sit-ups, and it's not just early postpartum moms, but even the moms whose kids are in their 20s. I just heard this the other day. I heard, I'm doing crunches. Why can't I get rid of this pooch? And why does my back hurt? And this was from a 60-year-old woman who has had 3 kids. Or maybe you're jumping into a HIIT workout or heavy lifting without retraining the foundation. And so some think if I'm not in pain or leaking, I must be fine. Everything's good because I'm not in pain and I'm not leaking. But the truth is, many issues like fatigue, low back pain especially, and poor posture stem from an unhealed core. You wouldn't build a house on that cracked foundation, like I just talked about. So the same goes with your body. If we don't rebuild from the inside out, everything else can feel so much harder, whether it's 10 years, 20 years, 30 plus years down the line. I've talked about this before on the show, but Kegels are not going to be enough. And so if you are coming across a program or someone on Instagram who is saying, just do your Kegels, that's going to help and make everything go away. It's going to help with the prolapse. It's going to help with the leaking. It can help. Okay. Strengthening those muscles and that coordination is important. Yes, but they're often overprescribed and misunderstood. And people are just saying, do the Kegels without actually coaching you through what that means, what that feels like, and what to actually be activating. Not every person needs to tighten more. Most people, most women need to practice the relaxation, relaxing and releasing the tension first before working on tightening and strengthening. You need a functional pelvic floor that can contract, relax, and coordinate with your core and your breath. So this is the foundation for literally any type of movement, whether you're exercising or not. So those activities of daily living, the things that you're doing around the house and just being human, for your pelvic floor to do what it needs to do, it has to contract, relax, and coordinate with your core and your breath. So we have to learn to breathe. We want our pelvic floor to be dynamic. So when I have to sneeze real quick, or if I have to quickly chase after my toddler, my pelvic floor can do everything it needs to do without me having to worry about peeing my pants or feeling like something is falling out or my back hurting. Like, oh my gosh, I pulled my back. So think of your core like a team. You have your diaphragm, your deep abdominal muscles, your pelvic floor muscles, your low back, and if one part isn't synced, the whole system struggles. If one of those muscles is out of sync and not doing what it needs to do, it's too tight, or it's too congested, or maybe too weak, then that's going to impact the diaphragm, the deep abdominals, the pelvic floor muscles, the low back, everything in that system, everything on that team. Before we keep going, I just want to remind you, if you're listening to this and thinking, wow, I had no idea I was missing these steps in my recovery, and it's been 10 plus years since I've had my baby, then you have to come to my free workshop, From Exhausted to Energized, on August 1st at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're going to be diving deeper into how to fuel your body, rebuild strength, and heal your core the right way. No guesswork. This is going to be more of a holistic approach. So I took what you have been saying and what you need, and I've revamped my postpartum program to encompass all of this. So it's not just the core and the pelvic floor, but it's also the energy, it's also the nutrition. So head to wellnessbyval.com/workshop to learn more about the program, but also to get lots of free information that can start helping you right away. Save your spot again at wellnessbyval.com/workshop. So let's dive into the breath to core connection again. Breathing is the missing link most workouts ignore. And I see this all the time. I see it at CrossFit. I see it at the gym that I go to in the morning. And I can see it in the group fitness classes that I'm teaching. If you cannot breathe in a position, you do not own a position. Those are the famous words from Kelly Starrett. And I'm actually getting my continuing education from him. He owns the Ready State. He's amazing. I went through his movement and mobility 101 course, and I am now going through the 102 course, and everything stems from the breath. So if we cannot breathe in a position, no matter what it is, we do not own the position. And this is very important when we're thinking of the breathing to core connection, and then how to heal after having your baby, and how to build strength, lose fat, and increase muscle mass. So something you can practice right now, whether you're driving, you're walking, whatever you're doing, Let's practice breathing. And you may be thinking, oh my gosh, Val, this is so stupid. Like, I know how to breathe. But really, I would say 99% of the time I practice this with my clients, they're like, oh, whoa, I was doing this wrong like the whole time. What the heck? So on the inhale, the diaphragm lowers and the pelvic floor relaxes. On the exhale, the diaphragm lifts and the core and the pelvic floor engage. And this natural rhythm supports intra-abdominal pressure. And so it's going to protect your spine and it's going to protect your pelvic organs. And we need this for literally anything we do as human. Okay. And then, of course, when we're exercising, when we're lifting up our baby, when we're lifting up our toddler. So, a way to practice this, you can lay down, or you can, again, if you're driving or walking, you can definitely practice it at this point as well. If you have the chance to lie down, go and lie down on your back, feet flat on the floor, knees are bent. And I want you to just start breathing. Pay attention to your breath. And maybe you do 5 to 10 breaths there. And then I want you to inhale into your ribs, into your belly. Something that I practice with my clients is putting hands. I put my own hands on them, or you put your hands on your ribs and you breathe into your rib cage, breathe into your hands, and then as well as your belly. And then you're going to exhale and gently lift the pelvic floor while zipping the lower abs in. And really the transverse abdominal muscles, that corset muscle that wraps all the way around. And so your diaphragm, your pelvic floor muscles, there's a bunch of muscles in there, your back muscles, and everything is working together with the breath to be able to contract and relax. So you're contracting on the exhale, and on the inhale, you are relaxing. So again, you're lying down, you inhale through the nose, breathing into the ribs and the belly, and then you exhale and you gently lift the pelvic floor while zipping lower abs in. We'll practice this way more in the program as well as the workshop, because this takes a lot of time and I have a lot of videos to be able to show you inside the program. Now, a lot of questions that I get is about diastasis recti, that ab separation. I have a couple episodes on that I've mentioned earlier in this episode for you to be able to go back and listen to. But you can check for your own diastasis recti, but I highly recommend working with a pelvic floor physical therapist, or in my program, I'm going to go into way more depth and we can practice this together. So you're going to lie flat on your back with your knees bent, and you're going to slightly lift your head up. So it's kind of like you're doing a crunch, but not really. And you're going to use your 2 fingers to feel for a gap along the midline of your abs where the linea alba is, that connective tissue. And typically more than 2 finger widths in depth, or if you're experiencing that coning or that doming, there's likely diastasis recti. That doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean that you can never heal this. It's very common. 99% of women are going to have this after having their baby. And it's just a matter of healing, connecting with the core, the pelvic floor, and the breath, and practicing this not only within the first year postpartum, but literally forever. This is something that I continuously practice, and I'm 2 years postpartum. So healing your diastasis recti, that ab separation, is going to require alignment, pressure management, and proper core engagement, not just ab exercises. So doing the planks without actually thinking of the breath and how to control that intra-abdominal pressure, it's not going to be helpful and not going to actually make things worse. And we're going to talk about this more in the workshop, and especially more in the program. A weak or dysfunctional core is definitely going to affect posture. It's going to affect our movement and even digestion and breathing. And we may not have thought about that. Like, what? My core is impacting digestion and breathing? Yes, it is. And that's why a lot of the times too, we're hearing women say, oh my gosh, like I bent over to pick up the laundry basket and I felt like I broke my back. I pulled my back out. And this is because our core is probably weak. We have other muscles that are probably too tight. And so this is going to lead to compensation, more tension, fatigue, and risk of injury. You don't know how many times I hear from moms, I hurt my back, I hurt my back, I hurt my back. And this all stems to the connection with the core, the breath, the pelvic floor, and as well as the strength. Rebuilding from the inside out gives you the foundation for sustainable results that last a lifetime. Plus, your body will feel stronger, your body will feel safer. So something I want you to really practice is the breathing, that breath to core connection. So lying on your back, sitting up nice and tall, doing it while you're driving, whatever it is, practice this connection with your breath, inhaling into the ribs, exhaling on the way out and pulling everything in and controlling that intra-abdominal pressure, especially when you're exercising. So most workouts and programs, what they are missing is this breathing connection, learning how to breathe before we really dive into all of the exercises that are going to help strengthen and heal and recover. And this is a big, big piece. And this is actually something that one of the moms who has gone through my program has mentioned, where she was like, I was doing all these other programs and I thought I was doing the right things, but when I actually went through Val's program to be able to learn how to breathe and learn those foundations, it was a big difference. And then she noticed a difference in her activity in the gym. So being a year postpartum, she's able to lift heavier and do more things because she was able to focus on that foundation. So we don't want to start with a cracked foundation. We don't want to build a house on the cracked foundation. We want to build our house on a foundation that's going to be strong. And then we're going to take that through our healing, our recovery, and for the rest of our life. So don't forget to join the workshop on August 1st. This is why I created this, because it's not just about looking better. It's about feeling stronger, more energized, and more like you. And it's totally possible. I didn't think it was possible within the first 3 months postpartum. I was like, am I ever going to fit in my pants again? I'm going to have to get a whole new wardrobe. Like, I don't feel like myself. What is going on? And if we just stick with it and we can learn all of these things, then you can take that into everything that you do. So I'm going to show you how to reconnect to your core, fuel your body the right way, and stop running on empty. And those who attend the workshop are going to get early access to exclusive program bonuses when my new program, postpartum program, opens. So head to wellnessbyval.com/workshop to save your seat now. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Practice those breathing exercises. It makes a big difference. And don't forget, stay strong, stay nourished. Hey Mama, I hope you loved today's episode. If it resonated with you, would you please take 30 seconds to share it with another mom, a mom who's looking to make healthy eating and exercise easier, because we need that. And if you haven't yet, I would be so grateful if you could leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It truly means the world to me and helps the show reach more amazing moms like you. All right. Time to chase my toddler around, stay strong and nourished, and I will be back on Monday with another episode. Talk soon.